It's April 2024, and following the success of Netflix password crackdown in the past few years, another streamer is set to follow in its footsteps from June this year. Stick around, all the details coming up shortly. Don't forget to like this video, share it and subscribe to my channel. Doing these three things help us make more great videos for you. So, contrary to popular belief, when Netflix announced that it was going to crack down on password sharing and stop users from outside of a designated household from using Netflix service, a lot of people said that this simply won't work and Netflix will just crash and burn. But Netflix have made a great success out of the password sharing crackdown and now have even more subscribers than ever before. I think we've always been aware that other streamers would follow, and it looks like from June, Disney Plus are going to follow Netflix and also crack down on password sharing. Disney's CEO Bob Iger said in an interview recently on CNBC that the company plans on launching our first real foray into password sharing in June. Now, Disney have said, just like Netflix did back in the day, they are going to roll this out to certain countries from June. Not every country, but they do hope to have the password sharing crackdown rolled out to all countries by September 2024. So they've got quite a short time between trialling this in certain countries and actually full coverage. Now, at the moment, they've not actually given any details on how they plan to tackle this. But considering Netflix password crackdown was a great success, I think they are likely to follow this tried and tested method. Disney already started rolling out new terms to prevent subscribers from sharing their passwords with other households. The terms never stated how they identify password sharing. It simply said that Disney Plus can analyse the use of your account to determine compliance. It was also stated in this new agreement, unless otherwise permitted by your service tier, you may not share your subscription outside of your household. The new agreement explains it also defines a household as the collection of devices associated with your primary personal residence that are used by the individuals who reside therein. So from this statement, it does look as though it might be possible still to share your subscription outside of the household, depending on what service you're paying for. Now I understand on Netflix's premium packages, you can pay an extra fee to add users to the service, which allows them to use the service on their own subscription or sub account outside of your household. It might look as though Disney Plus is adopting this type of idea too. So you might be thinking, why are Disney Plus suddenly doing this now? Why didn't they do this from the outset? Well, really, it's a strategy by the company, just like Netflix did and the other streamers are doing. They've turned sort of a blind eye to password sharing, really to get as many people they can interested in the service. And this did work for Netflix too. So it kind of gets you hooked on the service, gets you to a state where you feel that suddenly that service is part of your life. Okay, you're probably not paying anything for it because you're using somebody else's password, but it gets you hooked, it gets you into the service, and then one day they turn around and they cut your service off and suddenly you realise in actual fact you loved it that much you can't live without it, so you end up setting up your own subscription, or as it said previously in the terms and conditions, that if you're on a certain tier then you can set other people up outside your households, probably for an additional fee. Also, Disney Plus is a business, it's there to make profit, and unfortunately so far it hasn't turned a profit. So this is another attempt to try and make the business more viable. Disney Plus aims to turn a profit by the end of 2024. So what's going to happen next? Well, Disney Plus are going to ask you to choose a main residence for your subscription account. Once you have done that, any devices will be allowed to connect to the service within that household. However, just like Netflix, if a device is seen to be regularly connecting from outside of the household and never seen to be connecting inside the household you've designated as your primary household, then it's likely that device will be blocked with a message asking you to verify your subscription. Now, what they'll probably do is they'll probably send out an email or a text message with a code on asking you to verify that on the device itself that's being used outside of the household, just to prove that it is a device that it does belong to yourself or your family members. If that device is repeatedly found to be outside of the household, then there's a chance that Disney Plus could completely cancel your subscription. But what if my children are using it and they're never at home? They're always out and about. Well, at some point they're going to come home, aren't they, if they live in your household during the course of the week. So what I would suggest is perhaps get them on their devices or their device to connect to the Disney Plus service occasionally, at least once a week, just to prove that they do still live at home. If they are at university, then unfortunately this would not be acceptable to use your household subscription whilst they're away from home on a permanent basis or a majority basis they're away from home. Then unfortunately they would have to get their own subscription. And as the terms and conditions did say, that depending on what tier you've got, you may have the option to share your subscription with somebody outside of the household, but this may come at an extra cost to you. You might also be wondering, what happens if I work away from home? Well, again, if you work away from home, when you stop work, you will come home. So if that is your permanent residence, so therefore, again, I would recommend connecting to the service on whatever device you use away from home, just to prove to Disney that you do come home occasionally and that is your main residence. You might also be thinking, but what if I've given my password to my mother or father and they just watch one or two programs? Well, unfortunately, that is violation of the terms and conditions. You should not be sharing your password with anybody outside of your household. Unfortunately, your mother or father would need to get their own subscription. So what about other streaming services? Well, so far, no one else apart from Disney Plus and Netflix have announced a password sharing crackdown, but it is very, very likely that other streaming services will follow suit shortly. And when they do, we'll let you know on this channel. So please make sure that you've hit that subscribe button to find out about all the latest news and my other videos as soon as they're released. So please let us know in the comments down below what you think about this. Do you think this is fair? How is this going to affect you? Will you cancel? Of course you will, but will you really cancel? Or will you do a Netflix and say you're going to cancel, but then actually when it comes to the crunch, actually I can't do without it, so I'm going to stick with it? Are you going to say that? Let us know in the comments down below, whatever your feelings are. Well, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, consider hitting that thanks button and making a donation to this channel. Or if you can't do that and you want to have a look through my Amazon shop, or you want to look for a new VPN, or you're looking for a Fire TV stick, Fire TV cubes, or Firestick accessories, have a look in the links down below. We've got some great deals down there for you. Buying, subscribing and donating really does help support this channel. It helps me to be able to spend more time researching to bring you these great videos. And whilst you're at my YouTube channel, why not stick around? I've got thousands of other videos for you right here, right now, covering all sorts of subjects. Hopefully whilst you're here, you're going to find something to educate you, entertain you, amuse you, and maybe even save you some time and money. And if you do see anything whilst you're here that you think your friends, your family or your work colleagues might like to see, then please don't forget to share these videos on your social media timelines. If you want to check me out on X, formerly known as Twitter, I'm at CWTEK, or if you want to check out my website, it's cwtek.co.uk. Thanks for watching and speak to you again soon.